Welcome to another Get Live Friday session with me, Janae Marie. Today we're going to be discussing 4 ways that you can find topics for your next story. So, you want to write a book and you may, I don't know what to write about. Okay, so I want to help you out today. So, I have came up with my idea of what 4 ways that you can find story topics to write about. So my very first one is actually something that I was told from my college professor when I was in university, is to people watch. Yes. So, and we all like being nosy, so come on. So if you used to go to your local Starbucks, your local coffee shop in your neighborhood, and just sit down and over here, not so much eavesdrop into people's conversations, because people are always talking. People are chatting with their friends or family and divulging into their business, and it's not. It may feel kind of intrusive, but you find the best material. Say you're at a shopping mall, there's crowds of people, and people are always talking, and not only the conversation, it's just you want to pick up on how people maneuver themselves. How do they move their hands? How do they just what are their mannerisms? So you want to study their mannerisms, so that way it can be realistic when you're writing your character. So you can say, oh, they clenched their fists when they talked about a situation that hurt them a couple of years ago, or you can see the tightness of their jaw, and it's just different things that you can get from watching other people's mannerisms. So when I say people watch, that's what you're watching it for. You're watching people to not only grasp a story, but you're learning, basically character development, what makes these people tick, and kind of the mannerisms, and what kind of brings out their inner person, their inner character, so to speak. And my topic number 2, I would say, talk to a family member. Yeah, talk to a family member. Everybody says that they have a story to tell, because everybody has a story to tell. Everybody has some type of drama going on in their life. So why not talk to a family member? Because everybody's like, oh, if I could do it, I'd write a book and blah 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 blah. So talk to a family member. See what's going on in their life, and because everybody has some. Everybody wants to try to get their story out. So talk to a family member, see what's going on in their life. Maybe they've got some craziness going on at the job, things like that. So it's always important to talk to a family member, maybe even your grandparents, because grandparents usually always have been through a lot of things, and they have a lot of information and a lot of knowledge that could provide you with a plethora of topics that you could write about. Because you could write about anything, and which kind of, all this kind of ties up into my third topic, which is to look at the world around you. Look at the trending topics. Well, not so much of the trending topics, but just look at the world around you. What's going on outside of your neighborhood, outside of your window. What do you see going on? Is what's the story that you like to see written about your neighborhood, about the world. Write the book that you want to write about. That's something, if you thought to yourself, I do not see the book out there that I myself want to write about, then it's up to you. You can be the first one to write about that topic. And as a writer, I would tell you, don't hold yourself back. You are limitless. So you can just write about any and everything. Do not hold yourself back. You know, if you want to write about a sci-fi erotica, okay, feel free. You know, that could be what I'm saying is, like, don't be afraid, like, oh, I don't see a market for this. Just because no one has ever done it doesn't mean that you can't do it. You can be the first one to do it, So, look at the world around you. If you could write about that. If you look at the things that's going on in your city, in your neighborhood, it's always stuff going on, especially if you live in an urban city, and and there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, just look at the people that are walking up and down the street. Look at how the buildings look, and all of that paints into the scenery. All of that, you could say, how the smell, how it's, because you don't want to tell your reader, like, oh, it looks this way. No, you want them to actually be there. You want them to be able to paint a picture. So, take the reader on a journey, while they're reading your story. So that's why I believe people watching, talking to family members, and looking out at the world around you is the best way to find topics to write about, because you're writing about what you know, and that's the best way to write about. That's the best things to write about, is writing about what you know, because you have the passion for it, you have the knowledge and everything, and like I said, the possibilities are endless. And the last thing that I wanted to tell you guys about is listen to music, okay? Because I know that a lot of times with a lot of creative people, we listen to music to get our creative juices flowing. So listening to music also can trigger emotions. Listening to a song can either make us happy, or it can bring up a lot of sad memories and make us sad. So I believe listening to music can trigger, your creative kind of brain to be like, oh my God, I can see, I can kind of envision the artist and what they were talking about with this song. And you can, like, I'm telling you, create an entire story just off like a 4-minute song, because you're painting a picture of what you think that artist is meant while they created that song. So, I mean, you don't have to just limit yourself to just four different ways to find story topics. There's a lot of different ways for you to find story topics, but I just feel like, just going outside and watching people and seeing the world around you is a great inspiration for you to be able to come up with the best stories, the literally best stories that you can possibly write. And I know that I've written a lot of stories from just simply off the top of my head, but growing up in Detroit, you see a lot of things going on, which is why a lot of my stories take place in Detroit, because there's a lot of stuff that I've seen, that I've been through, and I know it's a lot of things that a lot of other people have been through, and you can bring those topics to light. A lot of things that people have been through, as like poverty, abuse, drugs, mental health, illnesses, drug dealings, like, and it's topics they're limitless. So, just do what's best for you, and remember, don't let someone put a period in your life story where there should be a comma. Keep going and keep writing. Okay, so join me next Friday where I will be discussing story and character arc. All right, thank you. Bye.